Hello everyone, this is Eddie with Low Code Systems, and in today's video I just want to show you how you can leverage ChatGPT and Zapier to eliminate the amount of spam or bots that submit forms on your website. So here you can see the SAP structure. We'll build this after I show you how it works. And then here I have a simple form. I created this using React and some Tailwind CSS for styling, but this method should work for any other form, such as Airtable forms, fill out, you name it. So let's get started. So here I'm just going to run a couple examples. So we'll do Jane Doe. Actually, let's do something different. I think I already used this one. Matt Doe, and then we'll do at gmail.com. And then for the phone number, we'll do a valid structured number, Google director. So we submit this, nice. And then we're gonna submit one that's just complete, just gibberish. Let's just pretend this is just spam. So what the SAP will do is it'll run, and for invalid leads, it's gonna add them into a Google Sheets. For valid leads, it's going to add them into our CRM. In this case, I'm using Airtable as the CRM. So as you can see here, Zap just finished running, and the invalid lead we submitted gets added here. And we just want to add it here just in case, we want to review it. Maybe we missed a lead and we just want to check this every once in a while. And in Airtable, you can see the valid lead with the valid number and the valid phone gets submitted in here. Awesome. So let's get started. We're going to go ahead and create a new SAP. So we'll do create SAP. And here we're going to choose our trigger. If you're using a form such as like Airtable or Google Form, you can just use the app and use that as a trigger. But because I have a custom form, I'm going to use a webhook. And here I'm just going to do a catch webhook, which is where I will send my payload or the form information into. I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to put this in my custom form. So I'm going to save that. You can also do this for HubSpot forms. You can set up an automation and actually send information in here. The next step we want to do, actually, before we set up the whole Zap, let's send a test payload. So I'm going to go to my demo form and I'm going to submit just some information here. I like submitting the information like this just so it's easier to distinguish what fields are what. So here we'll do, let's do a valid phone number. Oops. Okay. We'll do Google. Awesome. So if we submit this and we come over here and we do test trigger, you can see here's a payload we just submitted, and we're going to continue with this. We're going to set up the rest of this app using this payload. So the next step we're going to do is we're going to call on ChatGPT, and we're going to ask it to validate the phone number and email. So what you want to do here is you want to select conversation. You're gonna have to have a ChatGPT account, and this is not the same as just like the premium account. You're gonna have to add some money into your account so you can actually use their API. And here is where we actually send the instructions on what we want it to do. So for this example, I'm gonna tell it, check if the following phone number is a valid, I can type valid number within the US. And then very important, I'm going to say only return true or false whether or not the phone number is valid in the US. So it's very important you control the output or the response that ChatGPT gives you, because we're going to use that later to determine whether the number is valid or not. And if you don't specify this, it's just going to give you like a long answer like it usually does when you interact with ChatGPT in like the chat environment. And then here I'm going to do the phone number, and I'm going to put the variable from our payload. Awesome. I'm going to use ChatGPT 4.0 mini. It's like the cheapest and one of the most efficient ones in my opinion right now. The rest of this, I'm just going to leave it as is. For tokens, I'm going to put here like 120 tokens, simply because the response, our request here is not super long. 120 tokens should be enough. And then we're going to test this. So as you can see, this is the request, this is the number, and then the reply is true. Awesome. The next step we want to run is we want to run another ChatGPT. And you can run this both in the same message, but I just find it easier that it's easier to run it separately, so you can, run logic based on either output, either the phone output or the email output. So here we're going to do the same thing. We're going to say, check if the following email is a valid email address, and then only return true or false whether or not the email is valid. And we're going to do email, and again we're going to select the variable from our payload. Same thing, we leave everything as is, just the amount of tokens, and then we click continue. We test this step. Awesome. So you can see here's the email address and our response is true. Next, we want to run some conditional logic. So Zapier has a paths step. And here, this one lets you use multiple conditions. There's also filter, but that one keeps it in one linear flow. So this one allows you to actually branch off and do something for both conditions. So we're going to set this one up. So we're going to say only continue if the reply for the phone number is true. So if the phone number is true, then here we want to select exactly matches true. And if the email is valid, so we want to get the reply from ChatGPT true. Here we're going to do exactly matches true. And then we're going to continue. And as you can see, this path would have continued because our phone number and email address were both valid. So the next step here is we're going to send our table into the CRN. For my example, it's going to be Airtable. So we're going to do create record, continue. We're going to choose a base, and then we're going to choose the contacts table. And here we define the information. So we have, that's actually a calculated field. So this is the name. So we'll do first name, space, last name, company, choose that here. We're going to set our description. Actually, I did not collect that description, so I'm going to skip that. And then we're going to do the email and phone. And I think the last thing is the title. There you go. Continue. We're going to do test. And there you go. Now we can check Airtable, and this is very instant. There's the lead we just submitted as a test. And now for the other condition, what we want to do is we want to say we only want to continue to add it to the invalid leads sheet here if either the phone or the email are invalid. So we're going to say if the phone number exactly matches false, so if it's false, or not that one, or the email is invalid, exactly matches false. When I continue, wait, I didn't get to test this. So it wouldn't have ran in this one, in this example. And then here now we want to select Google Sheets. We want to select create a row, create a spreadsheet row. I've already connected my account, but if you haven't, you just have to sign in. We're going to select my drive, then valid leads, Google Sheet, and the first sheet. And then here we define the values. So we're going to do first name, last name, email, and the phone number. Gosh, company, and last field here, title. Awesome. And of course, you can run some logic here afterwards if you want, or like if you wanted to send you an email notification, you could do that. For this example, I'm going to leave it as is. So now we're going to test this step. And we go here and you can see it gets added. Great. So now that we've set this up, we can go ahead and publish it so that it gets turned on. Nice. And if you remember, I changed the webhook in my application. So I can go ahead and submit a couple tests here. So we're going to submit Matthew test Matthew at gmail.com. And then for the email, we're going to do 23. So we submit this. This should go into our Airtable, and it's pretty instant. So if we go here, it should take a little bit. You can actually check your SAP history here, and as you can see, it's still running. It's actually not that fast, but while we wait for that to run, we're going to submit a second example. So here we're going to do, what do we want to do here? We want to do just like the gibberish example. Spam, submit that. Let's see if it finished running. So the first one finished running. As you can see, Matthew is our valid lead. It's in our CRM and Airtable. And this was our lead that was invalid. As you can see, it gets placed in Google Sheets. So great. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope this is helpful. If you guys need any assistance whatsoever or have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment or just reach out to us. I'll leave my contact information in the description. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And thank you so much for watching. Bye, everyone.